Attack the enemy! Victory is ours!
Welcome, War Thunder oncologists, to the Spring 2017 High-Tier Ground Forces Chemotherapy Research Conference. We'll begin with a review of the known types of high-tier ground forces cancers. Research continues into the known types. However, as always, treatment is a race between effective treatments and the cancer adapting to becoming resistant to treatment, as seen in this case. In this case, doctors treated a secondary infection that threatened the patient more directly, and this allowed the cancer to adapt to the applied chemo treatment and thus become resistant. This patient was not saved. The secondary infection was fatal. Here we have another case of an extremely resistant strain of the IT1 type cancer. It was later completely eradicated, and this patient did survive. It is important to note that these strains are still easily curable if treatment is applied rapidly. Treatment success stories from around the world continue to be reported. Now we'll move on to new discoveries recently made by War Thunder research oncologists in the field. We've discovered two new types of cancer. The type classified as RU-251, discovered in February of 2017, which can spread very rapidly if not immediately treated. And the type classified as IS-6, discovered in March of 2017. This type is always fatal if left untreated. It was discovered when it struck down the famous English battle ratings physicist, Professor Dr. U.K. Chieftain, in the midst of an academic discussion he was presiding over when he was suddenly struck dead with no warning. RU-251 cases have been reported in various places, such as the Gobi Desert of China. As previously stated, the RU-251 type is able to spread extremely quickly and is extremely deadly if treatment is not applied early enough to contain it. The IS-6 type is also known to affect optical nerves and can cause vision defects. It can also be difficult to eradicate, even with the proper adequate treatment regimen, if that treatment is not properly applied.
22 orange.
We'll now move on to a brief rundown of how different national health infrastructures are dealing with these outbreaks, beginning with the highly mobile treatment centers being pioneered in the United States. Early efforts were large, slow-moving, bulky treatment machines which required large amounts of power, though they remain effective nonetheless against the older types of cancer. The next generations were a bit more effective, but still a bit too large and slow to arrive where needed for treatment. American medicine has veered towards a mobile, rapid response treatment philosophy, where small, high-speed treatment centers are able to quickly relocate to areas where the cancers are prevalent, dispense treatment, and move on. Early detection is still a must, however. This comparison shows the speed advantages of the new model mobile treatment centers over the slower previous generation. Here is a popular export model of mobile American chemotherapy application vehicle. The mobile treatment centers are particularly effective when the cancerous cells are lying dormant. Remember, doctors, always have a backup treatment plan in mind if your first treatment method is not a success. Cooperating with Russians seems to work for a lot of people these days. The Americans are also exploring the use of airborne delivery systems for use in remote areas, such as Alaska. The system is showing some real promise in a limited clinical trial so far. Unfortunately, not every patient can be saved. This poor soul had so many different types of cancers all over that doctors could only fight the fastest spreading ones before they just simply ran out of time. We now move on to the United Kingdom's NHS efforts. Many successes have been had with treating the new cancers, and we'll show a montage of some of them now. This patient was helped by a natural, slight immunity. Sometimes British medicine is so good that it literally just chases the cancer away. Another very promising experimental treatment is a 183 mg chemotherapy pill, which has been found to be highly effective so far against both types in an expansive clinical trial. The 183 milligram pill is also highly effective in treating cancers when the source of the cancer is difficult to detect due to interference with the imaging equipment. At the Northern Medical Research Labs in Sunderland in the north, research oncologists are experimenting with a technique of many small doses very rapidly applied all over the entire mass of cancer. While successful, it remains to be seen if this will be a reliable, viable method of treatment. An extreme method of chemotherapy delivery is a large airborne radiation barrel to apply the chemo over a large area and treat the cancers before they even know what hit them. This can have an added bonus of clearing away some secondary infections as well. In lesser populated areas, a more scattered approach is practical and useful. More precise applications are being developed as well, useful in populated areas, or out in sheep country. The Russian Federation has also joined in a cooperative research effort with the UK NHS, as well as their own efforts in oncology, which we will describe next. Russian chemotherapy efforts tend to be more of a crude, brute force nature, but nonetheless, they are still very effective at removing the cancer. Swedish oncologists have pioneered the extremely controversial technique of using a less deadly cancer to remove more dangerous cancer cell types. Chinese medicine is specifically aimed at the RU-251 type cancer cells, as Chinese physiology has a natural immunity to the IS-6 type cells. However, like many traditional less advanced or faith-based treatment plans, the death of the patient still often occurs, even simultaneously with the eradication of the cancer cells. That concludes the Spring 2017 War Thunder High Tier Ground Forces Chemotherapy Research Conference. Thank you for attending, and go forth and rid the War Thunder world of cancer in all its forms. Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed this. I hope nobody took the cancer jokes too seriously. It's not really a subject that I take lightly, but I hope you can appreciate in the vein of the jokes here about War Thunder.